I mean, I guess the one fight you do want to see, not taking anything away from Czech Congo, but I think Minikov will probably win that fight, and then you get that fight. That's sort of the last step. But who at light heavyweight would give him a challenge? Who at heavyweight would give him a challenge other than Minikov? I think at this point, and he's not too old, but I think he's looking for these paydays. And I think, if he fought Tito, people would watch that fight. He did lose to Tito. That was probably his most embarrassing loss if you look on his resume, just because he was so heavily favored, and Tito really shouldn't have won that fight, and he did. So I sort of got the sense that he knows that he's the man right now, and I think Bellator knows that too, and I think they're going to start to put together some fun matchups, and I'm sure he'll fight Minikov, but I think you're going to see a lot more sort of notable fights for him because he's earned it, man. Like, I had that tweet on Saturday about how he never got a title shot in the UFC, and of course all these people are like, you realize actually that Bellator doesn't have as many good fights. It's like, I know that. I'm just pointing out that this guy's finally getting his due. That he's getting titles in a different organization. Like, people act like I don't know the difference between Bellator and the UFC.
It's weird to me that people act like Phil Davis, Linton Vassell, and King Mo were walks in the park, that jumping up and fighting, even though it was a walk in the park for Bader, on paper, that him fighting those two guys, that was not a walk in the park.
Not just that. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt just quickly. Like, someone said his biggest win is Little Nog. I was like, he knocked out Uriel Latifi. And last time I checked, Corey Anderson said he deserved a title shot after going to a decision with Latifi. Bader knocked him out. So it's like, there's all these people who don't really look at his resume, and you look at the losses he did have. Top-notch competition. Other than Tito, Rumble Johnson, Glover, John Jones. Like, he's fought guys. Rampage, exactly. Yeah. So,
I mean, he's OSP even still hanging around in that division right now. Phil Davis, if he's in the UFC right now, he's probably a top 5, top 10 guy. I don't get that. I don't understand it. Also, the complete hilarity of the fact that this title was being decided because Vitaly Minikov was not in Bellator, and now he's being talked about as the next contender for the title that he never lost. It's insane. But as we've seen with Czech Congo, man, he was on a hot streak after those decisions. Now that he's deciding to put people to sleep, hey, cool. But I mean, I think it was Chael Sonnen that said, anytime you're booked against Chael Sonnen or Czech Congo, you're probably going to have the worst fight of the night. And that's something that you do run into. Joe, what's next for Bader? I mean, I think the Minikov Congo winner does make sense. I think
it makes perfect sense. Yeah. But James kind of hit it on that, Bader's got all the cards here. Now I think it's going to determine money. Like, where's the money fight? If you ask me, he's 35 years old. He does want to defend both titles, so he still has some time. If you're doing this right now at 35 years old in the promotion that you're with, you probably bought yourself a few more years. So, Tito Ortiz is blah, 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 chatting him up. Bader would like to avenge that loss, guaranteed, and that's a pretty big money fight in terms of probably ratings, and people would like to see that. Not everybody would like to see it, but I'm pretty sure that it's a money fight. And the bottom line at this point in Bader's career, in my opinion, and I could be dead wrong with this one here, where's the better reward versus the risk, right? It's always risk versus reward. But if I can get a bigger reward fighting a guy in Tito Ortiz as an example, the guy that I think I can beat, versus a Minikov or a Congo who can knock my head through into the second row and I get paid less, I'm going for Tito.
I got one for you guys for the future, assuming that everything holds up. Ryan Bader, Gegard Mousasi, your middleweight champion who beat your welterweight champion, who has competed as a light heavyweight very successfully, I might add, even competed as a heavyweight successfully. That is, for Bellator, a super, super, super fight. It's like these guys have controlled practically 4 divisions if you include Mousasi beating the welterweight champion. But that could hold up a lot of stuff. Not that Bellator ever cares. Their champions used to fight, defend their titles once every 6 years, for the love of God. Hey, maybe Cole Conrad will show back up. I'd be down for that too.